Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I am the keeper for this game of Shadows Over Stillwater, which is a Call of Cthulhu campaign set in the Down Darker Trail setting. That's Call of Cthulhu in the Wild West. If this is your first time joining us, then remember you can catch up with all of our previous adventures on our YouTube channel. But let's begin by introducing our amazing cast. Jackson, do you want to jump in first?
I would love to, and thank you. I'm Jackson. I'm playing U.S. Marshal Jeremiah MacDonald, who last we saw kind of failing at his job for the first time. I think he let the bad guys get away or get killed. No thanks to his reliable posse, I suppose. But that's okay. Tomorrow's another day.
Exactly. Tomorrow's another day. Yeah, nobody gets an 100% success rate. All right, fantastic. Daniel.
Hey, I'm Daniel. I'm playing Griff Gutherson, who's an aging mountain man. And last week, I was letting free said criminals or bad guys because I sympathized with them and thought they needed to raise their snake child. Watch the episode. It gets weird.
Everyone deserves to raise their snake children in peace.
Yeah, exactly. And free.
Art, do you want to jump in?
Hey, I'm Art, and I play Dr. Joseph Waite, and I do not... Oh, that's right. We murdered my mentor.
Yeah, it was... that was a bit fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, he had some crazy research material, and I left it all where it was and burnt all of it. Totally, it's fine.
Burn it all to the ground. Put that to a screeching stop. All right, fantastic. And Dave.
Yeah, g'day. I'm Dave. I play a youngster named Grease. I've recently been deputized. I'm doing my absolute best to get that badge taken away from me.
You'll get there. You keep at it. Don't let your dreams just dangle out of reach. One day you'll be able to lose that badge just as quickly as you got it.
I was acting in what I thought was the best decision at the time. I've since been proven wrong.
Well, not proven wrong. It's open to debate, is all I'm saying. You can never be 100% sure.
Now, I look forward to your first salary review.
Okay, so a quick recap for those of you who haven't been watching every episode. We are our investigators are a group of people who are all hunting down members of the Green-Eyed Gang. The Green-Eyed Gang is a gang of vicious outlaws. They started off by hunting down Hank Hanratty in the town of Stillwater, and then they went out after various other people, Maria Romero, Jim Owens, Elijah Smythe, and most recently Juliet Scanlon. And they have dealt with, in one way or another, every member of the Green-Eyed Gang that they were sent to take down. Isn't that fantastic? Yay, except... they have all heard about a mysterious leader. That is Christopher Viella Piera, who apparently has been the influence who has been pushing the mythos and all of the spooky stuff that has been lurking around each member of the Green-Eyed Gang. The only lead they have to the whereabouts of Christopher and to what this strange person's plan might be is the name of a place, Castronegro, which they were told by Juliet Scanlon just before Griff let her go so she could raise her snake child in peace. Now, our collection of investigators are riding off into the sunset with the job maybe well done, maybe not. It really all depends on what's going to be happening with the mysterious presence of Christopher. So we're going to pick up there as the collection of you are riding along, tearing through the countryside, and maybe, just maybe, looking towards retirement. So it's raining for the first time in a very long time. This is a dry area, and it's very rare that you get to see rain. It's not exactly a torrential storm, but there's some spitting rain, and it's nice. The oppressive heat that's been around for a long time is finally broken, and the collection of you are weaving between little bits of scrubland on your way to, well, where exactly? You rode out of shade, and I think there's probably a conversation that the collection of you needed to have. Maybe when you set up camp, you worked through the night or rode through the night, I'm sure, to get away from the Scanlan Ranch and all the terrors that you left behind there. What did the collection of you talk about around the campfire? Where are you going? What's happening now?
Well, Castro Negro seems to be where this Christopher fellow's at. But he's the one who's behind all this. I think we definitely got to go deal with him, right, Marshall?
Is this man known to me? Does he have a bounty, or is he a known outlaw?
I'll tell you what,
just mixed
off
up?
the top of your head, this is not something that you would immediately remember. It definitely wasn't in the brief that was telling you to go after the members of the Green-Eyed Gang. But you can make a law check to see if you can think of anything way back in the assorted arcanery of your work that you might recognize.
Hey, while you're rolling,
that is what I'll do.
What was Juliet Scanlan's crimes?
Specific, if you want a specific list of them.
Or just the general intent, because I want to know why they were fleeing. Yeah.
In general, anyone who was riding with the Green-Eyed Gang got wrapped up in conspiracy for robbery, conspiracy for murder, and had some of the general crimes attached to the gang applied to them. So she was fleeing murder charges. She was fleeing robbery charges. How involved she was exactly is a matter for debate, and something that maybe only she can answer now, considering that she's ridden off into the sunset. But
out in the West, no matter how involved you were, they tend to string you up anyway.
Yeah, it's not a particularly.
Oh, she's definitely destined to be strung up
For sure.
Yeah, it's just whether or not she deserved it isn't in there.
Will a regular success give me anything about this mysterious man?
A regular success will give you something in that it gives you nothing. You have never heard of this person before. You do not know why you haven't, because if they're the leader of the Green-Eyed Gang, then surely their name should have popped up everywhere. So you might think this is just a deflection if one of them had told you this, a lie that they were making up. But considering they've all made allusions to or mentioned Christopher in some way or another, those that could talk, that is. I think Jim Owens was a little possessed and unfortunately unable to talk you through exactly the details. But with all of them having mentioned it, it does suggest that, I don't want to say criminal mastermind, but you're getting some of those vibes if you want to luck it or push this roll. But if you want to push it,
I have already given you 3 points of luck for regular success, and I'll let you talk and give me all the information regardless. That's fine. No, that's all good. We'll leave it there.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, you don't know much about this person, nor do you know much about Castro Negro.
Well, hang on. I mean, before we go further, do we need to try and find Juliet? I mean, I don't know, Doc. You were the one that was pursuing him. Is this settled? Are we done here, or what?
How long after the ranch is this? Like a couple of days?
This is probably about 8 hours of hard riding afterwards. So you would have left the ranch in flames behind you and gotten to safety and stopped to camp and water your horses and stuff like that. This is just after you've got to what I would say is safe range away from the Scanlan and Romero properties, where you're pretty sure that no one is going to come tearing out with a shotgun to take revenge.
I mean, y'all can call it done. I wouldn't. Suppose when we go after this mystery man, still falls in my lap to chase down Scanlan. That might be with you all or not.
I think leading towards the former from my perspective.
Well,
but I mean,
right.
she was Doc's quarry, weren't she? I mean, what was your title? Is this a personal vendetta, or I mean, letter of the law is one thing. Is there anything more than that?
I didn't know.
Doc's situation with Juliet was a little bit special in that Doc was always looking for his mentor. He wasn't actually looking for Juliet Scanlan, but he had the knowledge that Juliet was somehow involved with his mentor. So it was an indirect chase situation.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't get the feeling. I think I missed something.
About
think
what?
That was something bad. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I think something else was going on, and I was a little distracted, so I think I missed it.
I mean, we burned it to the ground. There ain't,
No, it
That's
wasn't
dealt
that.
with.
Doc, Hackney, mentioned something out yonder. I really wasn't paying attention at that point. He kind of got off the rails a bit. Mentioned something. I can't put my finger on it, but I think it was important.
Something out in the wastes?
I don't remember.
Well, as a fella camped outside the house, told me I ought to ride out and see where they're taking the folks that didn't get better.
Maybe it's related. I don't know, but I don't know. Sure, it's nothing, and if it's anything, well, I think we've probably blown our chance now. Anyway, I'm done with the ranch if y'all are. It's no importance to me.
I got
feel
no
like
ties.
Me neither. I feel like this Christopher fella is the guy we ought to be after, you know? The head of the snake and all that. He started all of these fellas off on this strange path. If we can deal with him, we can ensure that none more of the dead start rising, none more of the snakes start slithering, I suppose.
Mac, how are you certain that the Scanlan that you're after is actually the Scanlan we met?
Well, I know her face from the posters. That's the line I'm in. I know him. I gotta see him. But I think Griff might be onto something here. She's got a young'un. She's gonna want to lay low for a while. If this other fella's gonna start killing more, raising more, doing all sorts of no good Nick business with snakes and the like, then I suppose he's just moved up my list.
I more meant, Mac. You say you saw a face on posters?
Yeah, at some point.
We've seen plenty of creatures that can take on another man's face. Are you absolutely certain this woman that we saw right off into the night is in fact the Scanlan you want?
Well, if she weren't, I'd have no way of knowing.
I mean, she did have a scaly kid. It seems like it might have been an illusion. Something she might have just, popped on a skin so she could come into town. It's one of them lizards.
Something I'll have to chase down myself after.
Well, if you think you still need to chase down a woman, potentially innocent one, after that, then fair enough.
I mean, she ain't innocent. She's got a wanted poster, and if it ain't her, then it's a lizard thing in her skin, and that ain't innocent either. So one way or the other, it deserves to be hunted down.
I said my piece.
Either way, she's in the wind now. Like, she knows people are after her. She's got a horse. I suspect she won't make head nor tail for a while.
So, I guess we go after Christopher, find out if he's outfitting other people or arming them with oddities and instruments. Any of y'all ever heard of a Castronegro? It don't ring a bell for me. Sounds like it might be somewhere to the south, near Mexico or something.
Have I?
Based on the name alone.
And you make a history check, and also just sort of following up, if you do want to split off and try and track down Juliet Scanlan, You can try. You're not too far removed from the situation. You could try pick up her trail. It'd be difficult, and she has at least some skill as a runaway. Escaping the law and the like. So she's probably going to be pretty hard to track down. But it's not beyond your capabilities. You've done more difficult things. That said, there is a point to what Mac's been saying and Griff's been saying. Cut off the head of the snake, and well, yeah.
I think that's the plan.
Okay.
Castanegro,
History check.
can I not tempt you with a navigate check?
A navigate check.
Read a map, see if you can find it on there somewhere.
Yeah.
It might not be printed on maps.
You could make an extreme navigate check, and I would
you
accept
bastard.
it, but not a standard, not a regular one.
All right. Here comes the history.
Does anyone have any skill in history? Oh, Mac's got a little bit of history.
Look,
Not enough, but
so you know enough to think, look, this place could really be anywhere. Particularly with a Spanish name like that, it could have been renamed. For all you know, it could have been renamed to El Paso or Albuquerque or something like that. You really have no idea where this could be. It could be somewhere very, very familiar. But that kind of information is not beyond your reach. And now that you've sort of done your duty, so to speak, you could think about heading back to one of the larger towns and diving into a little bit of research and trying to track down exactly where Castanegro is. You also need to report in that you've dealt with Juliet Scanlon, or at least make some kind of report, presumably.
Well, yeah. Is Shade still the nearest big town?
Shade is probably the nearest big town. Yeah, I mean, in terms of, it's big. It's not massive, but it's large. You can head back to Shade, and you know the people there quite well. You could go and speak to the sheriff there, and you know that there's enough infrastructure in place that you'd be able to get in contact with the people you want to get in contact with. Alternatively, you could always head back to Stillwater. You could always head back to San Rafael.
Okay.
Okay, Shade it is.
San Rafael was nice
Pretty
enough.
sure we got kicked out of at least one of those locations.
Yeah, well, this can be your lovely reunion tour where you can go back to the places at the start of the campaign, or you could leave them alone because they were terrible places. Why would you go back and get quarantined again and instead head for Shade?
I mean, Shade, the
Depends when.
sheriff there was medium competent or so as well. And also,
it was alright.
I still got a rental out on an armored caravan that I'd like to redeem.
I think that has since expired.
I'll give it a whirl.
I mean, if we go back somewhere, I might actually have a chance to use library use, which I have not used this entire campaign, and I'm very good at.
Yes, well, this could be the time. This could be the critical points.
Well, it's either that or accounting.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go.
Yeehaw.
All right. So back across to Shade then, and you make way heading across through the light rain back towards the town of Shade, and back on the hunt this time for the mysterious leader of the Green-Eyed Gang. You arrive in Shade after a couple of days of travel. Are you rushing here, or is this more of a relaxed pace?
I don't know what we don't have a ticking clock necessarily. Like we're not rushing.
I mean, we've been running for a while as well. Nice to keep a slower pace for a little bit.
Okay.
As far as we're concerned, the only thing we left behind was a bunch of cowhands and a burning building, so I don't think we're rushing.
There is also something to be said for, we thought that some of them folks in Shade might have been lizards pretending to be people. If we keep our cool, pretend like we're only, just having a look around and such, and don't raise too much attention, we might keep out of Christopher's ears a little longer, catch him by surprise. Whereas I'm worried that if we go in and, start screaming for him, he'll find out we're looking for him before we find him.
Yep.
All a good plan. So you head at a more relaxed pace. You're not in a rush. It's actually quite nice. There is a little bit of an awkward moment because you do see along the way there is still a never-ending trail of sick folk heading out towards where the Scanlon Ranch is, desperate to try and be healed. Several of them hobbling along on crutches. At one point, you see someone dragging themselves, desperate to get as far as they can, or carrying wounded people. Are you turning them back? All right, so you stop by each one, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, go head up to him at least. I mean, I'll let Mac take the point if he wants to, or the doc. They both have seniority on me on this one, but if neither of them want to say anything, I'll absolutely tell them that it's a fucking scam and the bloke's A, a charlatan, and B, a dead. So
it wasn't necessarily
your
a
flavor.
Scam. It did work.
It worked 25% of the time and turned people into lizards. That's a scam.
Yeah, but 25% chance is better than 0.
Well, he's dead. Either way, no point going this way. Back you go.
I will not be telling people that the doctor is dead. If I get a chance to speak to people, I will say the doctor is no longer available at Scanlan Ranch, and they had best go back to Shade.
Okay, so as the collection of you are riding past the first group comes through, this is a middle-aged woman with red hair tied up in a bun who's carrying one of her sick children with her in sort of like a large sling that she has around her side. When you tell, Grease, Doc, are the two of you heading over, or is just one of you? Are you deferring here, Grease?
Yeah, I mean, if Doc's got it, I'll let him take point. But if I need a little backup, I'm nearby. And also, there's dozens of these bastards. I mean, I'll whip over and grab another.
They pass. It's not sort of a river of people, but you every couple of every hour or so you pass by a person or a small group.
As long as Doc's got it, I'll leave it.
Yeah. So Doc, first person that you come to, you know what do you mean not available? I got some money. I can pay. What's happened?
He ain't there no more. He's no one knows where he's gone, but he ain't at Scanlan Ranch no more.
What do you mean? Were you there?
We went to see if we could find him. He weren't there.
He weren't. Oh my! I need a. Do you know where he went?
No, I don't.
Didn't leave no kind of message, nothing like that.
He left a bunch of sick people without help, is what he left. So,
well, why do a man go do something like that? She kind of frowns at you and why are you telling me this? What do you care?
I care because I'm a doctor and I care about people who are ill. I don't want people trekking out over the wastes and hurting themselves more than they need to if they could get some help in Shade. And I'm gonna be in Shade for a while if you need someone to look at you.
Or maybe you don't want people leaving Shade and not going to your practice. Is that right? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't work out of Shade, ma'am. You can go wherever you want. I just want to save you the trouble of walking all the way there first. And then I'll turn the horse around and head back.
Okay. You can make a persuade check, or you can just think you've done your duty. You're not gonna try and push. You're telling them. That's it.
I'm telling them they can go if they want, but I'm telling them that he's not there. And I'll essentially I'd have a similar conversation with everyone, probably leaving out the bit that unless it seems helpful, I won't tell everyone I'm a doctor, but it's just he's not there.
Right. So the mechanical effect of what I'm pushing at here is that if you are going to have to go through and tell lines and lines of dying people that their hope is dashed and that they should turn around, it is going to be enormously taxing on you. You're a doctor. You're used to doing this kind of thing. So you will have a better chance of doing it than Grease might have, but it's still going to, it's going to suck. If you want to just say, look, it's fine, I just do it, I do it cold, then you're not going to have to make a sanity check or anything like that, but you'll have a very low success rate. If you want to actually try and turn people back, then you're going to have to get emotionally invested to at least some degree. So if you want to make a persuasion check or something like that, you will have to make a sanity check. I leave it in your hands.
How about this? Because my persuasion is shithouse. You tell me how much sanity I lose per how much this works. I'm not even gonna roll. You can just tell me what I lose.
Sure. Okay.
I'm good with that because my persuasion is 5.
You could try and intimidate them otherwise if you want to, but I think that interpersonal skills aren't your
No, you know what? I can try persuade. Let's see what happens. The worst that can happen is I fail and we're in the exact same situation.
Exactly. So you do your best to communicate to these people.
Yeah. God forbid. Nope.
Oh,
Unfortunately, they are just not listening, which is a problem. Now, make a sanity test. You can have advantage on this because this is kind of within your wheelhouse. This is what you do, so to speak.
Yes, I do in fact tell families on a regular basis that unfortunately know their loved ones, children, babies are not going to make it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a lovely gig. All right.
If I get it better than that? Nope.
With a success, you this probably only affects you as much as, you know, a really taxing day does on most medical professionals. But that's still very taxing, so you could take a point of sanity damage.
And a thank you to all those who work in that industry
exactly,
for their
you know,
hard work and tough,
in these troubled times.
especially
The only worse, possibly, at least in my head right now, is telling a family that their beloved pet is going to die. I feel like that's like on the scale of awful news you have to give. That's
There's something pretty bad
It's
about
all
that.
pretty
isn't
shit.
there? Yeah.
Yep.
So you continue on forward, and Doc keeps breaking away from the collection of you to stop and talk to people. Look, a lot of them don't listen. Some do, and they turn back towards shade, or they stop. Some of them even try to convince others to turn around, but a lot of them keep pushing on forward. And judging by the state they're in, you know that some of them just aren't going to make it. But you've done what you can, and you know these times that's all you can do. So you arrive in shade after a couple of days. Sorry, what'd you say?
no guilt.
No, yeah, exactly. You're all good.
Oh yeah, true.
If they died, they kept going when I told them not to. Like it's a shame. I will feel, you know, loss, but not my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
What I could.
You're good, Griff? Okay, cool.
Yeah, don't worry.
Go about that.
So the town of Shade looks well, unlike some of the other places you have left behind, which will not feature on your reunion tour, or at least hopefully won't.
Because they don't feature anymore.
Exactly. Well, you know, in particular, one of them that was wiped out by a volcano. But the rest look pretty. Shade looks damn fine. There was some damage done to the outside of the town when there was these riders that came in to try and kidnap people to try and draw out Griff. But that's already been repaired. It was relatively minor, and really, there's actually, you know, a pretty good atmosphere around the place. When the collection of you ride in, I want you, Grease, to make for me a spot hidden check.
Oh boy. Cha! Success.
Success. Okay.
Lightning Kid back from the dead.
As you're riding past the
better not
area
be.
where you gunned down the Lightning Kid, you can see not one, but two people who are standing about, and my God, they're selling comic books. They're selling comic books about the jewel that took down the Lightning
Mac, I'm
Kid.
using my sick day. I get off the horse. I run towards it before he could tell me we don't have those.
The hell's a sick day?
Annual leave. I'll be
While the
back
rest-
before sundown.
Fantastic. And while the rest of you head towards, I presume, the Reedstrom boarding house, the Silver Shaft Saloon, whichever you would like to go to sort out rooms while you dive into this research. Grease, you arrive at these, comic book salespeople who turn to you and see you as a likely target and start to tell the story. And then maybe they recognize you, maybe they don't. I want you to roll a credit rating check, and I'm going to tell you the stakes. If you succeed, there is a new hero on the loose throughout the West. A new hero who gunned down the Lightning Kid, who no one ever liked and who was totally evil. And this new hero, well, we'll get back to that. But if you fail, you're cast as a villain. You're cast as a terrible, sort of evil, corrupt marshal's deputy who's been, tearing through, and you've got a bad guy name and a spooky story and everything like that. So it's your call.
That don't sound like a punishment. Yeah, all right. Very good chance we're playing the heel. I got a 21 credit rating. Ha-cha-cha. You can have 8 points of luck.
Okay. You want to luck it? It's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
8 points. 8 points.
Okay.
This is going on my resume.
So they recognize you. You succeeded on the credit rating check, and people, I mean, the comic books are selling like hotcakes as you arrive in the area. People are calling out your name. Everyone runs out. They're looking. They're ooh and they're ahhing. What's the mythos that's been created? Does your character have a name? Have you been immortalized?
Grace Gunless. I already had this ready to go. I mean, there's the whole thing about me not carrying a pistol and outdrawing the fastest fellow in the West. I mean, I've been spreading this thing like, what's them fellow with the apple seeds going around just fucking whipping them? That's me, but with my own stories. So I've been, I was telling folks about how we dealt with Jim Owens up in the other place and lizards and stuff. So I'm developing my own little sort of nation, like a fantastical element of the West. And yeah, I mean, it's great to see people recognizing it and really appreciating the culture of literature.
They are absolutely appreciating it, and people are invested in the story, and they'll offer to buy you drinks. Of course, they know that your trademark is to drink a glass of milk because that news is already spread around.
Oh man,
it was only a regular success, so I'm going to say that there is a bad aspect to it. That bad aspect is somehow the story has diluted enough to come down that you have a pet snake. And that's like a cool thing. Like you got a pet rattlesnake that you carry around with you. And everyone else keeps asking to see your pet snake, which they're sad to learn is not part of the...
I ain't huge on snakes is the thing. I mean, I'm really more like a snake killing kind of guy. I mean, that goes back to biblical and everything. But, the rest of it's kind of cool. I can autograph these if you want. I ain't, got the old Hancock down, but I can probably start learning something a bit fancy. And the time being, why don't you give me that and I'll drop an X on it?
100%. They will totally get you to sign things. And as each of you come back into the town, for having taken out most of the Green-Eyed Gang, for you having ended up with comic books, and I'm going to assume that Doc, over the next couple of days that you likely spend in the town, there will be at least some medicine practice. Some of the people that you convince will probably come towards you and seek help. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, all the same, for recognition of past deeds, I want everybody to make a credit rating improvement check. You've all been practicing your craft in some way or another. Mountain Man is a difficult craft to practice out in the, in the confines of this story. But having helped out, even the legend of you is building, and that will build your credit rating all the same.
His job is hunter and explorer, I guess.
Yeah.
If anyone writing comics is looking for a sidekick, I do have this big kind of dopey fella what follows me around sometimes. You might see him. Maybe see if that spins in.
Yeah, they'll end up calling him something like Little Griff or something like that. And the joke is that he's enormous.
Baby Griff.
Oh, that's even better. Baby Griff. All right, perfect.
Baby Griff works because he's old and huge. And neither of the baby describes neither of those.
Duo.
Nothing on a. Oh wait, that's a.
You want to fail. So
you want to fail.
Only Mac is.
That's all right.
Because Mac cares about the legal. You haven't been building your mythos, so to speak.
Actually, that makes sense because you didn't catch the last criminal.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really have anything to report, nothing to spread the good news about.
So
I now have the same credit rating.
Oh wow, you've climbed a lot in credit rating over the duration of this. That is a good increase. Only seconded to Greece, who I'm starting with nothing.
I'm outpacing all of y'all. Sorry, what are you at, Doc?
62.
Damn, that's high as hell. Griff, what are you? 20? Ha.
24 now.
You're looking at the proud owner of 27.
Oh wow, Jesus, that is a joke.
Those fucking idiots over there were offering me to make me a king or something with them comic books, and I said no, you don't. You just give me like $5 right here and now, and I'm set. Royalties or whatever, I ain't ever gonna see that shit.
Yeah, royalties is a scam. What you want is hard cash money.
Bam,
now.
$5.
Yeah.
I'm set.
You don't want rights. Trust me.
No. I mean, that seems complicated. I don't understand it.
Offered me shares in something called Apple.
Apple.
I told him I don't like apples. Anyway, all right. So you arrive in Shade. There's a pretty good reception to the place. Mac, what are you putting in your report?
So we spotted Juliet Scanlon. She was just coming back to the ranch. And she got spooked when she saw me. but she's got a young'un now. So I'll make the suggestion that maybe she's not wanted dead. I think she'll put up less of a fight now. So yeah, I'll say she's less likely to put up a fight. So you could probably take her alive.
Okay.
Because she's got a kid.
That's good to know. Make me an education check. I'm going to need a regular success representing your job training. I'm going to need a regular success for, just you to basically not get in trouble for letting a criminal go, and a hard success for your recommendation. Okay, an extreme. All right, that's totally fine. So
that's how we do it.
That's how it rolls.
Delightful.
You wait for a couple of days, and this is sort of skipping ahead a little bit. You'll be waiting a couple of days for a message, and instead of sort of a report coming back, you are going to receive a letter to the Sheriff's Office in Shade, which is redirected to you, from Marshal Westmore. Marshal Westmore is one of the senior officers in the Marshal's service. Not so much your boss as your boss's boss. And it is going to say, "Wait in Shade, I'm coming to meet you."
Alrighty.
Mac's in trouble.
Someone done fucked.
So meanwhile, I did say you all have some time. Since you're kind of pushing the local hero vibe, I would suggest that you stay at the Silver Shaft Saloon, which is a touch nicer than the Reeds from Boarding House. It's the place that you booked in for rooms at and never actually got to try them. So, I know you did after coming back to Shade. That's right. So you know the bar very, very well here, Griff. And you can park yourselves in there and get what research, get what work you want done while you wait for max engagement. So, with that in mind, what are you spending your time doing? There are all kinds of things that you can find here. There's a schoolhouse that has all kinds of classic books collected if you want to make a library use check, but that's probably not got the best information regarding where things are. You'd probably want to go to the town hall and look through records if you're trying to get details about, a location or something like that. There's also the bank, which might have some information. Anything else you can think of? This is a pretty big town.
This might be a stretch. I ain't all that good at looking at books and reading and whatnot. Can I go and attempt to find? I want to head to the general store, or someplace similar, and I want to subtly inquire about town, seeing if anyone's heard of a place called Castro Negro. Negro?
Castro Negro. Yeah, exactly.
Full black?
It's Spanish for
Black
Spanish
House?
For black. Castro Negro. Yes.
Black House.
No,
Casa
Casa. I don't
Negro.
know what Castro is. Back Castle?
It sounds real familiar.
I'm sure, despite so much Duolingo in Spanish, I'm showing all the holes in my education here. I thought that Castro would mean castle, but when I looked it up, it does not appear to directly translate. So, Negro is black. You are not exactly sure what because I'm not exactly sure.
All of my willpower to not Google it.
Yeah, be careful. Don't.
So I want to be going around and I'm sort of asking, but I'm asking as if.
Oh, we've had it. Sorry,
it means Hillfort.
Yeah, it means Hillfort. We've got it. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it.
I'd like to be going around. So I want to be asking as if I've heard like there's good hunting and fishing around there, and that someone was saying they spotted a big old buck near there, and I was wanting to someplace called Castro Negro,
border of Mexico.
Yeah. Shh. So something I am very good at hunting. I would know.
Make for me a charm check.
Okay.
You're just striking up conversation. It's all good.
This is probably going to be as good as my library use check. Oh, it's worse. Cool.
Okay.
Did I just hit climb? Nope. All right,
He's
wrong button.
clambering
All
over
right,
the counter.
I failed the charm check.
You know anything about? All right.
Which is annoying because that first roll would have been great on my charm check. I could have lucked it down 2 points. All right, we're going. No, that is a failure on my charm check.
You have about 5 or 6 conversations in which the exact conversation we had happens, where they're like, "Well, what does Castronegro mean? Does that mean can we work it out based on that?"
I don't know.
And you come back with the knowledge that Castro means hill fort, but apart from that, unfortunately, no information.
Sorry, guys. I don't know anything where anything is. Sorry, guys.
You could push it, but that might give away that you're trying
No.
to like. Yeah, all right. No, I can't convince you, Griff. Okay, easy. The rest of the time you're spending about the town. Are you avoiding the bar? You know, you.
Yeah, I think I am pointedly.
Okay, cool. So there's the boxing ring around behind the saloon that you could spend some time at. Otherwise, it's just kind of just a nice area. The hills you probably don't want to go up to because you've got some bad memories associated with them, but it's nice. You can spend some time in the wild. What about the rest of y'all? What do you want to get up to? What do you want to look at? What do you want to research? Otherwise, you're waiting for max contact.
I need. Am I gonna be assigned work? I mean, last time we were here, I had homework.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have your knapsack.
So I
full
gotta
of
see
paper.
if I'm well behind on my numbers and whatever
Grace,
the hell.
I'll give you some homework, Grace. You want some homework?
You ain't
Find out
my
what
boss.
Castro-
You find out. That's your job.
I tried. I am. I'm looking for it.
Well, keep it up. I believe in you.
I think the fact that my boss is coming to visit means I have to take the paperwork that Grease hasn't done back and
Yeah,
Double
do it
check it.
myself.
actually do it properly.
Want me
I'll tell you what.
shine
genuine-
your shoes and get your duster? I'll run it down to like laundromat, get everything looking spick and spancy.
That'd be fine.
All right,
All
give me
right.
everything, and I'll set up a room here so when we meet with him, we're impressive. What do you reckon? All right, give it here.
Alrighty then.
I'm on it.
So I'm going to want, genuinely from you, Mag, I'm going to want a law check to be covering your back. There's been a lot of legal dubiousness, and this will genuinely kind of
What?
inoculate you against a lot of that. And Greaves, I want a disguise check, I think, is
Okay.
probably the best here for you to try and make Mac look glorious. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to need an extreme success for you to find out a way to do that given Mac's coat.
He pulls it
Otherwise, you're
off.
gonna
That's not his coat.
All right,
I
yeah.
won't stand for this.
You are not getting 44 points of luck for that.
All right.
I take it to the laundromat. They clean it. I do nothing dodgy.
Okay.
I'm trying my
perfect.
best here.
So you've started to cover your back to a certain extent. Easy. Can't tempt you for 13 points of luck. If you get a hard success on this, I will say that like there is no way that people could know that you've done something illegal, but there is no way that people could prove it.
By all means,
Okay, fantastic.
have 13 points. Of
All right, so you dot the T's, you cross the I's, just to make sure that no one can ever point out the errors that you've made. Grace, before we move on, can I tempt you to push this roll? You think that the secret is just to buy Mag a new outfit. The penalty is that you will completely waste a new outfit. It's not too bad, is it?
I am already on thin ice. Today
you
is
wanted
not the
to do
day to
that.
push it.
Vis-a-vis murder. Vis-a-vis.
I didn't tell anyone about that, and I had, there was the child theft as well. I'm just saying, a thin ice, all right? It can't hurt to do a job right for once.
That's a vague point. Doc was in the house when all the screaming happened.
And they ran the hell out when I was looking for you.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering whether Doc's put 2 and 2 together and it's like, wait a second, Grease was in the house.
Oh, yeah, I fucking took that kid. I told everyone about that. That's what they were screaming
Yeah,
about
no,
as
it was
well.
more the murder.
Yeah, but they didn't
But
scream about that. I shot her ass.
Yeah.
She went down.
The Doc did.
He didn't give a shit. He was looking for his kid.
Also, he went down before he could really tell anyone.
Yeah, he got
anything.
shot as well.
No, I meant
You know that Grease was in the house. You know that Grease was tearing around. But the fact that Grease essentially shot an unarmed woman
is
you
still.
know, is
I genuinely don't think there's any way that they'd know
Yeah.
that.
No, I don't
No
think
one
there
saw
is
that
either.
happen. She went down in one shot and she screamed about the kid that was missing.
I do feel like it may catch up to us that in that scuffle, someone was shot, a woman was shot, but that has yet to come to pass.
absolutely true. So
Do I know
also-
about that? Because I hope not.
No.
at this stage, you do
No one
not.
does.
Excellent.
And we'll follow up. No, definitely, it's something that. Don't worry, I got you.
Excellent.
or more sinisterly, I got you.
I didn't do a damn thing wrong. She had it coming. She swang at me.
Exactly. Doc, what about you?
Did
Well, Doc ain't sleeping so great,
it's
so
like
you know, he's doing what he always does. He helps folk during the day as best he can. Then he goes and does his research at night, and then he passes out for a couple of hours, and he does it again.
Fantastic. What are you looking into?
What question is that? What else do I look into when I'm not doing my work?
Well,
I now am aware that the stuff that I have at my disposal was potentially producing miracles. Like, that's something I want to dig into a little more. You know, if I can use the information in a way that helps folk, I'm going to use it.
absolutely. Now, bear in mind that you know that your companions are not currently looking into any details about Castronegro. So if you look into the serpent person technology, which could yield results like you being able to heal people magically, you are not going to get any additional information about where this place is, about what this is. So totally up to you, but something to note.
I mean, I for one would prefer you to be looking into the location of our.
You're already looking into it, Griff.
I am, but I am not finding a lot of leeway.
Put your back into it. Double down.
I don't know where we would find that information. No one seems to have heard of it or whatnot. I don't know. But again, Doc, if you ain't able to look into it, you ain't able to look into it. That's fine. We'll figure it out eventually.
I think it's probably a case of I'm working on people and I'm doing my research, and if Griff comes back and is like, I ain't found shit, then Doc probably be like, let me see what I can find, and we'll like go and do. Honestly, this is a cursory search because Doc has people to heal. Like, you put me in a town with sick people walking through daily, that is Doc's number one priority.
You've got stuff to do. Okay, so I
will look, but it won't be.
I'm going to need you to make a couple of checks, and we'll jump back to you and see how they all went in a second. I'm going to need you to make a medicine check to let me know how generally your work is going. I am going to need you to make for me. Let's go with a Cthulhu Mythos check for your continued study into the serpent person text and information that you have recovered, and let's go with as I consider carefully. Let's go with a library use check. Now, since you are having a cursory look, it is going to be a hard library use check. And there you will not get all the information off a hard. What you would have gotten off a hard, you might get off an extreme. Cool.
Noted.
Great. Mac, a couple of days after you receive your message, you've been filling out paperwork solid, and you receive a visit from Marshal Westmore. Sheriff Otis, who is the sheriff of Shade, has made sure to like clear out an area that Grease has now been beautifying up to make it look as good as possible by putting a single flower pot in the middle of the table, but the flowers are slightly dead. And as soon as Marshal Westmore arrives, you stand up and you see a familiar face come in. Do you want to describe Marshal Westmore for us? What are they like? A senior officer in the Marshal's service. I'll let you make up their style and their personality.
Very good. I feel like he's a very, very calming presence. He's an older man, probably about my age, but completely bald. His hair fell out due to stress long ago. But he, if he's going to keep the country running and keep law out here, he has to be very calming presence, and I think he takes everything in good stride, at least on the outside.
I imagine him with kind of curly hair, and sorry, not curly hair.
The opposite of the thing.
That's why I got an image, and I was listening to you, and I was like, I imagine him curly hair. I was like, no, he's bald. What am I talking about? I imagine him with like a slight paunch, not like he's not fat because he has to ride around. He's a marshal all the time.
Yeah,
but just slightly. He's a calming, a little more.
Yeah, he probably knows what he's doing. To be honest, he probably cultivates that kind of kindly look to put people off their guard.
Yeah, exactly. It's a well-calculated move. He comes in and says some pleasantries to Sheriff Otis, greets you, Mac. I'm pleased to see you. It's been a while. You look like crap, honestly, but that means you've been working hard, so I'm happy to see it. As
guilty as charged.
Yeah. And this must be the new deputy you spoke about.
Yeah, this is my boy Grease. Still a trial period, you understand, but he shows some promise, and he's fast on the draw, which is what we need out here.
I couldn't agree more. Listen, Grease, I hope that Mac's one of the best around. I hope that one day we'll see you in the marshal service as a marshal yourself.
I appreciate that, sir, and I appreciate the opportunity I've been given here.
Well, you're a good lad. Come on, let's take a seat. Sheriff, would you do us the kindness of allowing us some privacy? And he's very polite. He organizes everything, and he sits down.
Oh, let me get your chair, Marshal.
Can you make a charm check?
Yeah.
I thought it was. It never occurred to me.
And I pull it out right before he sits down. I go,
Grease! You can't take the grease out of Grease! Go, Grease! Look, the marshal seems to really get along with you, and it says a couple of nice words, encouragement, stuff like that.
Going over Mac's head,
which is important. Sits down opposite the two of you and kind of leans in and says, "So I read through everything you done said, put in your reports, Mac. Now I have one question for you, Mac. One key and critical question: did you talk about Christopher in your reports?"
Oh, yeah, I would have had to say, I would have said, hey, and here's this name. You don't know much about him, but I better go find out.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
So he looks between the two of you and he says, now, you were given a very difficult task, Mac. You were sent after some of the most dangerous people around. You got it done. You got it done with a force of people that, all of you have moved the world, and you made the world a safer place. A lot of people, a lot of lives owed to you, a lot of livelihoods that you've saved. So I guess all I got to say is, on behalf of everybody at the Marshal Service, thank you. The job's done. And he looks between the two of you, waiting for a response.
Well, I appreciate the praise, sir, but the job's done. That's not quite how I see it. As far as I can tell, this fella's going to cause more trouble like the kind I've been running up against, and it wouldn't feel quite right. I'd like to investigate him and then maybe turn around, see if I can't pin down Scanlon as well.
He nods a few times and looks between the two of you again, then turns to you, Grease, and says, "You feel the same way, son?"
Oh yeah, I do. He's a menace. He's the one that's been organizing all these fellers, and Mac's got a beat on him. It's only a matter of time now. Shouldn't take long, and not a real big drain on resources or nothing.
Well, I'll be as candid as possible with the two of you. Words come down from on high, higher than the Marshal Service, real high up. Won't say where. Job's done. Leave it be. If you were to continue to pursue this, it would be seriously problematic for your careers. It could jeopardize young Grease here. So I have been instructed to tell you to leave things out, to put everything behind. Now, with your extreme success, previously, Mac, just to tell you what it's going to achieve. You got a message specifically from Marshal Westmore, who you know is a good man. You could have gotten anyone else. The fact that Marshal Westmore came out here to deliver this message seems to suggest something. And the way he talks now is laden with hidden meaning. Can you make me a psychology test?
I sure would love to, because something smells.
It's potpourri.
Psychology.
No, something smells bad, Grease. Potpourri is lovely.
So can you make a psychology test too, Grease? Because I want to see if you're sort of... They do a lot of nodding and, yeah, I see.
They're looking into each other's eyes. They're like, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me to tell me?
The
Grease is
swallow will ride at sunset. I'm nodding along.
European swallow.
Okay. Marshall kind of...
I see.
You're kind of so fixated on Mac that he doesn't seem to notice that you're not following along, Grease. But here's what you get, Mac. And he's doing his best to communicate this to you. So, it's not hard. Word has come down from above. This investigation ends here. Bureaucracy, red tape, someone's pulling strings. Christopher doesn't exist or isn't part of the Green-Eyed Gang. The investigation ends here. That is the word from above. But the Marshal is not suggesting that you do that. He's not suggesting that you stop. In fact, the fact that he came here to tell you in person is probably it's definitely not an order. It's a request or an invitation or something. He's coming to tell you that you've been told to lay off, but he's also kind of come to tell you that you're on the right track in one way or another.
Very impressive.
If he'd wanted to actually order you not to, he would have just sent a message saying I order you to stop.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Exactly. So he leans in again. He says, "So you understand, Mac? The word is that the investigation stops, and the word is that if either of you continue to investigate, it will jeopardize your positions as marshals. If for God's sake, you were to continue without the Marshal's blessing, you would be doing so as independent citizens without protection. I can't think of anything more dangerous."
Well, sir, I think I understand your meaning. The investigation's over, and, well, as you know, this was going to be my last before I found a hole to crawl up to and curl up and die in. So, suppose you could say this is my retirement party.
He turns towards you and he smiles and nods a few times and says, "Well, good. I'm glad that you understand what I'm saying. It's interesting. It's anybody who was still out there, they'd have to be pretty darn influential, pretty darn powerful to have avoided detection for so long. They'd have to be well armed, well connected, well prepared. So, look, we'll stop speaking in riddles, and I wish the both of you luck."
Thank you, sir. You take care of yourself out there, too.
As he stands, he sort of, throws his coat around him, looks towards you, Mac, and says, "And, I'm not suggesting you crawl up in a hole and die afterwards, but if you do take the fall, then you might save the kid's career." And he turns and walks out, leaving the two of you, Grease. You're absolutely befuddled by all of this.
I reckon he overplayed his hand there, Mac. I mean, I know he wasn't telling us to go, but I picked a few little inklings in there, that he seemed to be powerful, well connected and stuff. I mean, I reckon we got more out of that than he intended.
That's a sprout of genius there, Grease. Make sure you cultivate that.
Yeah, well, once in a blue moon and so on. You want me to tail him?
No, that's all right.
Well, you let me know if anyone needs tailing, because I reckon I'm real good at it.
I think, Grease, you'd actually be pretty good at it.
Yeah, I'd be great at it. I got my own newspaper with eye holes cut out of it. I just bring it wherever I go. I got right through the damn comic, so there's nothing interesting in it anymore. That's why I ain't throwing it out.
All right. So how did your checks go, Doc? Oh, you may be.
No, I'm good now. It's all good.
You're good now?
Excellent.
Excellent.
That was fine.
It's always quick.
So my medicine was a hard success.
Okay,
The old
perfect.
My Cthulhu mythos was unfortunately a fail, and I think you asked me for a hard success. And
You got a hard success. Okay, fantastic.
But
all right.
question before we get into all of the fun things, just because I'm curious,
Yes.
what does pushing a Cthulhu mythos entail?
You've still got that You've still got that injection, right?
Not today. Please continue.
Okay. All right.
Not today. Not ever.
No.
Not ever. What do you mean? Not today.
Look, the medicine is good. You're treating people, you're helping people. But the sick keep trickling into town with a hard success. Some of the trickles to visit you. You know, they're not expecting miracles, but you know, they're getting help, and some of them really need it. So you're doing good. The same good that you always do. You start diving into the research that you've been doing for so long, and it's just enormous. There's so much for you to go through. And now that you have a new perspective on all of this, you're kind of blown away about where you should start. It's like your point of reference has been thrown out the window. You keep coming at this from the perspective of someone who is finding a new domain of science, whereas in reality, what you understand to be science is, it's not real. It's confusing. It's going to take you a long time. This might be something that you set months, years to, and even then, you'll only be scratching the surface of the knowledge. One night when you drift off to sleep, you find yourself thinking, as much as you might not want to, how many years might you have saved if that research hadn't gone up in flames? But such is life. Meanwhile, with a library use, diving through into the history of Castronegro, you are going to find out that there is a town called Castronegro. It is basically the equivalent of taken out of the phone book. It has been hidden somewhat in the bureaucratic records of the government of New Mexico. And it is, while you can find it, it's very hard to come across, and it's relatively well isolated. It's about 100 miles from Stillwater. You'd have to go right through Stillwater to get there, and it would be a pretty long trip. It is by itself, hidden out in the sticks. Apart from that, there's very little. It was named. It has a Spanish name, which suggests it has, a harkening back to the earlier days.
It's old. It's real old.
Yeah, it's very old. Exactly. And if you would like to spend some luck to push to an extreme success, I'll let you. I'll let you get some more information. Alternatively, you could push this roll, and that will be forsaking some of your medical duties. So, despite having succeeded, you actually didn't do as well as we said. Yeah, okay.
That's not.
As long as you got a location, I'm pretty happy. Just...
I think Joseph, in terms of how I'm picturing this is something that's happened very late, probably the same day of or the day before Mac just had his conversation.
Yep.
And Joseph's gone after the end of a long couple of days of helping people and trying to do research, and is just oh, fine, I'll go look because Griff hasn't found anything. Has found this town and has now gotten interested, but we probably have to leave soon. So if there is more time, I will dig into it further. If there isn't, I won't, because Joseph has now interest peaked.
Okay, fair enough.
Something hidden is always kind of his jam.
Absolutely. So that night at the Silver Shaft Saloon, as a collection of you gather around, you got caught in a conversation today, Griff, when you were trying to find out more about Castronegro, and you had to talk to somebody for no less than 45 minutes as they told you the full story of their grandson's trip down to Mexico. And it all past these places. Let me think. Well, first, they were...
And I had to keep, like, Iberian gave, like, monosyllabic answers, but I had to stay in the conversation in case he had any knowledge of where Castro Negro was.
Exactly. And the two of you, Mac and Grease, have just had your conversation with the Marshal. What conversation are you having together? Is the path towards Castro Negro? What information are you sharing?
Are we all sitting around like a four-sided table with one of us on each?
You've got a meal at the end of the day, family dinner, as you tend to.
Well, I didn't find out jack shit, so
Good one.
You lot better have had more luck than I had.
We got stonewalled. The marshal, he put everything up in front of us. He wouldn't help us. We got nothing.
That sounds like the law from my perspective.
Not quite true. Certainly the marshal's service shut us down, but my friend had some messages for us. Reckons this Christopher fellow's got some friends in high places.
I'd say they're pretty high. Castro Negro is almost impossible to find. I did a bit of looking around some of the old records, and it's like someone's tried to wipe it. They don't want it around no more.
They don't want it around. Well, it's still there, ain't it? Wherever it is.
I mean, they don't want no records of it.
So you don't know where it is?
No, I know where it is. You just ain't gonna like it. Going back through Stillwater.
Ah!
He's sink onto the ground.
I hate Stillwater.
I feel like everyone at the table who isn't Grace just like tries not to laugh. Like,
why did it have to be Stillwater?
Grace, I think the feeling is mutual. Stillwater may hate you.
Them assholes deserve it. We tried everything to help them, and they let in zombies, and they remember when all those fellers got summoned in and almost killed you? Dumbasses.
Oh yeah, fuck. I hate.
Yeah,
you're
and
right.
that was because some little dick shit shot a bell.
Rub my neck. Ooh.
Yeah, no, I hate Stillwater. They're the worst.
volume, please.
All right, fine.
One of those talks of zombies, all this folk around you.
I hate Stillwater for perfectly mundane reasons. They just suck.
Somewhere
All right, we're good.
Yeah.
He gets it.
As it happens, Stillwater is still in our jurisdiction there, Greece, so we don't get to choose whether we protect it or not.
Yeah, all right. I mean, we protected them last time, and they didn't deserve it then either.
Any knowledge about what we're going up against here, Marshal?
No, I reckon they're flying pretty blind right now.
I do not like that.
I mean, if whoever this group is, if they got enough influence to get an entire town wiped from the records, they gotta have resources.
Well, Castro make it sound like it's some sort of hill fort or something. I don't know where I got that from,
Amazing.
but I have a vibe that it may be some sort of fortification.
You got quite the geographic knowledge there, Griff.
Yeah, a little inkling told me.
Yeah, but why the other word anyway?
Well, black could have meaning toward like darkness and
Or just the
holiness.
more likely, ain't it just gonna be coal mining? I mean, there's plenty of that around.
Possibly, but anyway, point being, if this is some sort of fortification, I don't much like the idea of the four of us going and like attacking a fort.
We did that a week ago.
Yeah, but
second time's the charm. We smashed the hell out of that. Let's get the armored wagon again. Woo!
Yeah, I was not in the right frame of mind when we did that.
Right,
and,
so this one will
I
go better.
Exactly. What I'm saying is, look, I'm saying is we need a plan as equally good as the last plan we had for attacking the fort.
We have a plan?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We had a good plan. It was decent. It was send them up in the armored wagon, go in the front way, circle around. It just didn't work.
an armored wagon is not a bad idea. However, I don't think this place is giving over their their wagon to
I'm
us.
a marshal now. We can just requisition shit.
That's
Right,
not
Mac?
how it works.
I glanced at Mac. Are y'all still marshals? It sounded like you were saying the marshal says you're not marshals no longer.
Well, I told him this was my last job before retirement, and well, I was just told in no uncertain terms that the job's over. Reckon I can afford a small victory tour before I turn in my badge.
So we take the armored wagon for another mission and then just use it for this one.
How far from Stillwater is the fort?
About 100 miles, so it's not a short trip. Take.
We could. Sorry.
Please, after you.
I was gonna say we could plan in Stillwater rather than here. We could
No.
get to Stillwater
No.
and make plans.
No.
Also, Stillwater is closer, and being closer, it might have more traffic between Stillwater and Castro Negro. So if you wanted to, and Grace, I really want you to listen carefully here, spend a few days in Stillwater. You might be able to do some more research.
I felt it.
You know what? As a player and as a character, I feel for Grace's suffering. As a player, we're going to Stillwater. This is fun.
Nuts.
I also think we're going to Stillwater. Ain't no two ways about it.
I can't go back. They're the worst.
Grace, if it makes you feel any better, I'll bring that rucksack again. You can bring your paperwork with you.
Oh, good call. Yeah, that'll cheer him up.
Yeah, give
Okay.
us, some marshalling to do this time around.
Well, the roads are waiting. You can, if there's anything you'd like to do before leaving Shade, now's the time. You can say goodbye to Sheriff Otis. You can finally have a go in the fighting ring, or
That fighting ring keeps getting mentioned.
It's like the keeper really wants us to go
I
fight
wanna-
something in
hang
the
on.
fighting ring. Unfortunately, none of us are especially good at fighting.
First prize, armored wagon,
come to the UFC
miniature
Shade
gun.
in this corner. Hopefully, Griff.
You
Griff don't fight for like entertainment and fun. He fights to survive and for like it's not something that should be fun. It's something you do to live.
In this corner, Joseph Waite.
yeah, I'm
The Waite champion.
Lightweight,
right
yeah.
behind Grease, who I will be patching up when he gets punched.
I'll go. I'll go. I ain't got an inch of training.
Anything you want to do before you head off, or is it away?
Well, hang on. I mean, let's just bounce off a couple ideas real quick. I mean, so it's been all but told to us that these fellers are in important places. I mean, if they can, I mean, we've seen them take a body that weren't theirs, right? They took that a Blanca's target, right? They had her stowed away somewhere, and they were walking around in her skin pretending, oh, la-di-da, whatever my name is, one of them members of the Green-Eyed Gang. Stands to reason they're taking politicians, governors, marshals, that sort of thing. I mean, why take a bandit if you can take someone of import? I reckon, and quote me on this, President of the United States of America, Lizard.
It goes all the way to the top.
Well, genuinely, why wouldn't they? I mean, they can
all
get
the way down.
they can get their little claws in places, and all it takes is one. They're in the wrong place, and then zip zap, they're swapped in. Why wouldn't they be doing it? Makes sense.
That was certainly my fear. If this order to start the investigation came from the top, well, above us, there's just the director of the Marshal Service, appointed by the president himself. Thanks, Wikipedia.
Who's the current president? What year are we in?
1896, and I would like it known that on whatever day and time it is in 1896 on the western frontier of America, this small posse was like, conspiracy theory, lizard people.
Yeah, we invented
That's
it.
where it began.
Jamie, do you mind if I Google the president at this
Please
time?
go ahead.
President McKinley. I have never heard of you. Spoilers for 1901 when he gets assassinated. Guys, I found the sequel to the campaign. We're going to have to kill President McKinley.
in 5 years.
I'm patient.
When have we?
No, that's because Mac fakes his death and then comes out like the Punisher. Because it's the only way he's gonna get there is undercover.
Oh, that's We'll have to see how this ends, but I
William
think that's
McKinley.
unofficial headcanon or whatever.
William McKinley,
I-
25th U.S. president.
And either Mac or Grace kills him in like 5 years' time.
I control F lizard on the page. No hits.
Well, that's what they want you to
It
think.
would be funny if he did have like a pet snake. or
Snake
something.
hits.
Oh, what's snake?
Said that Brian, the populist snake, was he? No, the person he opposed was nicknamed the Snake. Oh, so McKinley's the hero. He beat out the lizard people.
Oh, he's get killed. We have to go stop.
We have
the
to save
assassination of the
McKinley.
president.
On that note, look, let's take a brief break.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think so. I think we're getting a little off track.
I encourage everybody to spend the 10 minutes that we will be off
Googling
researching
On
the
Wikipedia.
terrifying things that lurk on the internet. Everything you read there is real. There's not a lie on the cloud. I'll tell you what. We'll be back in 10. See you soon.
oh boy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Stream of Chaos. Where we left off, our investigators had just heard the worst, most terrible news that they've heard throughout the entire campaign. They're going to have to go back to Stillwater. They all made sanity checks to process this. I'm just kidding. It's going to be fine. But our investigators are heading back to Stillwater because they are trying to track down Christopher, the mysterious leader of the Green-Eyed Gang. Yes, Doc.
You sure Grease doesn't have to make a sanity check going back?
No, I'm just saving it up. There'll be some sanity checks coming. Don't you worry. You're heading back to Stillwater because you're heading out to Castronegro, which is a town, a settlement that is somewhat off the map, that has been kind of hidden away by official powers that be. And you think that Christopher, the mysterious leader of the Green-Eyed Gang and the person behind all of their mythos attachments, is hiding out there. Mac and Grease, you two have been told by the Marshal's service that if you investigate, you will be doing so on your own. But Mac, you've decided that that is a risk that is worth taking. The collection of you are now getting ready.
I did not have a say.
You're still a deputy. It doesn't count. So what's the plan? You can just mount up and you can head straight out there, or if you'd like, you can make some additional preparations. Shade might be the last big town that you get a chance to explore for a while. If this were to be a video game, as you go to walk out of Shade, a pop-up window might appear which says, you are now entering the end game. If you would like to do anything beforehand, turn around.
Gotta make sure we get those side missions done.
Yeah.
We can
Like the
technically
fighting pits, there's an enormous exclamation mark just floating above the fighting pits, apparently.
Believe me, if this was a video game, I'd be looking for all of that.
The same sound cue keeps firing. Actually, there was a fighting pit in every single one of the cities. You just didn't find them. But it was under the basement in
if you want to get that
Stillwater.
achievement, you have to do them in each of the city. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
up in San Rafael, Mary Lou is there, and you have to fight her. She's really handy.
She's
She'll
mean.
take you out. Oh no, we have lost someone. We'll fix this. We'll be right back. Give us 2.
Onesies.
We're back. Thank you for that. Now, as we were saying, the fighting pits has a giant exclamation mark over it. You haven't got all the ones in all the other towns, but who's got time for that? You really want to be heading for Castronegro as quickly as you can. But that said, if you would like to make any preparations, the armored car isn't a ridiculous idea. Anybody who has the ability to sway the Marshal's service at such a large scale, and anybody who is the ringleader behind all of the terrible things that you have seen scattered throughout the West at this time, it has to be pretty powerful. So you want to pick up some Gatling guns, you want to pick up some badass horses, you want to pick up some, well, whatever you're thinking.
I would like to. The one thing I would like to do before we go is walk over to where I put my axe down when I made a big show of not taking it with me on the last thing, and then I would like to re-equip.
All right.
I go, you know what? Symbolism is great, but I might need this.
Okay.
Symbolism is dead. Just walk off.
Yeah, I say it to everyone in the bar. Like, I turn around, I pick it up, and I turn to them. Everyone's like, no one's really looking at me. I just hold it. I go, yeah, symbolism is dead.
So someone sees you, taking the axe. They're about to say something. Don't rob the bar, but then they're like, "Oh, I haven't seen that axe before. We didn't have an axe there.
Hang on, why was that
Hang
there?
on a minute." But you're already tearing out the door as quickly as you can.
We have now entered postmodernism.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I would do before I leave town, I think.
All right. Anybody else?
I think Joseph goes digging because Joseph's not stupid. We've established he's
Yes.
quite intelligent.
Very smart.
And sometimes I feel Art might be able to match him, but not always. But snakes were in Stillwater. Snakes, we followed them into wherever we exploded, San Rafael, I think. Santa Rosita, that's where we exploded. Then we found some dude who was trying to call a Cthulhu. Not sure what that is. There might be hundreds of them. We don't know. And then now we're back on the whole snakes thing again. My mentor was getting turned into a snake. There's a lot of snakes. So there's a lot of this, what Joseph is coming to understand as maybe the mythos.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's going for not quite corkboard full of madness, but close. I think that's what Joseph starts doing, is he starts going, you know what? I've got this information about snake people. I've seen all of this shit. Let me see how much of this I can collate to try and understand what it is we're dealing with here. And yes, he will consider asking the Starspawn, and then he will go, not today.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So you are diving into this research. This is going to be a long-term thing, unless you are willing to pull the trigger and inject yourself with whatever strange substance your mentor was trying to get you to use, or to call the Starspawn, or to do any of those other deranged and lunatic dangerous things. Then you are going to be it's going to take a long time. So you can make another Cthulhu Mythos check, and this is you are making progress, but we're just establishing how quickly you make progress.
Sorry, I lost my Cthulhu Mythos for a second.
No worries. You know what? At the end of the day, not a bad thing to lose. Okay. You're making progress. You're slowly. The chalkboard is the corkboard is real. You are making it. You're folding it up. You're hiding it away. You are slowly moving through things, but it is going to take you some time to be able to unlock all the details and secrets of the various bits of technology and fragments of knowledge.
Would a regular success help, or not really?
Look, a regular successful. Not huge. No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be the lightning strike that you're looking for, I think.
I think Joseph is pretty convinced that he can work this out himself at the moment. He's not exhausted all of his options. He's like, okay, I did have that. No, I don't have that. That's a bad idea, Joseph. Put it away. And then continues to just do what he's doing. But
yeah,
yes, it is slow. That's fair.
Close. It's close. Okay, good to know. Mac and Grease, the two of you, anything you want to do before heading out? Mac, there has been a certain air of finality to this quest that you've been on. You said afterwards you might curl up somewhere and die. Dare I say, last will and testament?
Ooh, yeah, we better knock that out.
It's spelled J-R-A.
And then I realized I don't really have anyone waiting for me back home.
You find a lawyer inside Shade who's happy to help you out. Griff, can I get you to make up a lawyer character for me?
Me?
Yep.
Oh, his name is Tom Templeton, and he is 6 foot
Mr.
8.
Templeton to you. That's Mr.
6 foot
Templeton.
8.
Yeah,
And he's in the fighting pit right now. If you want him to write your will, you're going to have to beat him in a boxing match.
He is thin as a beanpole, balding, blonde hair.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
He is by far the strangest person in town.
He's the champion of the boxing ring. You have to take him out to get the achievement. He calls you in, and I'm very happy to help you out with your last will and testament. Let's go a few details. What assets do you have to declare?
Well, I don't have any fixed address, so I suppose it's just my liquid assets.
I see.
Cash.
You
Being
have
held in the Ringgold First Bank Ringgold,
okay.
Georgia
Right.
County.
Writes down all
Tecumseh
the
County,
details
Georgia.
of your bank account in Georgia, and says, and your next of kin. Who would you like these assets delivered to? You got children or family?
No, I suppose it's just me, married to the job and whatnot. Suppose make my executor Dr. Joseph Waite,
Okay.
and I'm sure he can figure it out. But any survivors among him and Mr. Griff Gutherson and do I know Greece's actual name?
It occurs to you. I don't think you do. You kind of hesitate. You've always called Greece
But
Greece.
you gave me a badge.
Sir?
You probably would have my actual name.
Oh, what is it?
Arthur Ryan.
God, it's
It's
so
very boring. It's why I don't like it.
God. That
My
is
mama
insane.
called me Artie.
Oh my god! I'm so glad it took this long to come out. Like,
Because it ain't interesting. That's why I call myself Grace.
Wait, your name is Art.
Oh,
Well, I ain't never gone by it, but Arthur, yeah, sure. And I just don't like the name.
Fantastic.
Never seemed to gel.
split it up between the doctor and Griff Gutherson and Mr. Arthur Ryan.
Fine name. And of course, if you're leaving people behind, I got just two last questions for you. Funeral arrangements. If you don't mind me saying, sir, you seem like the box in the desert kind.
That'll do me just fine.
Okay, and you might find this a bit of ceremony as well, but people you leave behind often will take a lot of comfort in what last words you have or a last message. And he slides a piece of paper across to you, and I won't ask you to say it now, but he's going to ask you to write a last note, a last set of words, just something to leave behind when you're gone.
I'll ruminate for a bit and pass it back to you before I ride out.
All right, and you do so. Greece, anything you want to work out? Last will and testament?
No, I ain't never gonna die. I won't live forever. Did Matt go into a bank to do this?
Yeah, why not? You the meeting was in the bank.
Okay. When he comes outside, I'm standing there and I've got a magazine perched up in front of me so that he can't see me and he just sees the magazine. It says Armored Wagons Weekly. And he comes in and I go, "Oh, hey, Mac, sorry, I just didn't see you there. I see you are moving assets about and I thought you might be looking to purchase one of these puppies."
Yeah, I mean look, there are armored wagons that are sold genuinely. You need travel, you need protection, you
They're for
need
like
something.
merchants and things. Like if you're moving like high important goods, we could get one delivered. I mean, they got to ship it in from another city, but we could have it in not too long, and we ride in there in style.
You remember that meeting where we discussed the fact this investigation is off the books?
Yeah.
You don't reckon that's going to draw some attention that we may not desire?
You can have a personal armored wagon. It'd be like a hobby one that you use for hunting. Put it on the books as saying you're going after ducks in a steel cage with a minigun mounted on the roof.
How much is this going to run me?
There's state.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Bye.
Pay now, ask later.
I'm increase in value.
I'm getting up the book, and I was so excited.
Marshall, if I may, the real question is, can you afford not to buy this weapon?
Yeah. How much is a Gatling gun in the book?
Look, the question will be, are you going to leverage your contacts as a marshal to get this? Because it will probably save you a lot of paperwork, trouble, time, and money to do so. Or are you going to try and go on the down low? Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I'm going to casually lean away from my microphone and come back with the Down Darker Trails book.
There
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I
don't want to do this at all. I think if we have to do it.
I found the Gatling gun.
So is that a no? You're going to do, if you're doing it all, you're doing it quietly.
Yeah.
How much is a Gatling gun if you found it, Grease?
$125.
$125 this will run you.
God bless America.
God bless America. What's a VR mean? That's how available it is. I reckon that means a no.
Very rare. Is what it means.
I misspoke, Jim. I said common. It's got a C next to it.
Oh, okay.
It does?
No, it's very rare.
Sorry, that was you know how sometimes art is as smart as the dot. Sometimes I'm as dumb as Griff.
Look, if you're willing to pay more, you could probably get it. You need to get to Stillwater first, so you could get it moved to Stillwater, where you could pick it up there.
Pick up and delivery to Stillwater.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's gonna help us go into the.
It's the stagecoach
Under
that's
the car.
expensive.
I
Stagecoach is
mean,
1,200, and that's before you put the paneling on it. That's just gonna be made of wood.
That's
I
more
mean-
expensive than the gun.
And
I did just update my assets and cash.
well, can you
I
make it work?
Oh, I've got like $14,000 worth of.
Okay,
like,
you're
I'm saying, like, we start liquidating.
Yeah, well, I don't know how this works because, like, I want to say, like, not that much to begin with because I jumped wealth bracket. So, like, I don't know where this additional these assets have come from, but apparently I still get them according to the level.
No, absolutely, you do. So let's work out where exactly your assets are. What were your previous assets before when you began this adventure?
My assets were a lot of my doctoring equipment,
Mhm.
because I've had it for a long time and that was just there. But the majority of my assets were property in the city. So I guess part of what's happened is like accumulation of assets, or possibly like whoever's got control of my money is like just bought more stuff with it.
I think if you'll permit me to weave a little story around that. I think that you've been doing a lot of medicine for free, and it's been a big part of what you were doing. You were tearing through town after town, treating as many people as you could. And I think that a lot of people, then they find it difficult to take charity, quite simply. And as casual as you are about it, it means something to them. And a lot of the ways in which they were able to live with the idea of taking, your charity was to say, I'll pay you back eventually. I will. One of the people that you treated was a money man, so to speak, somebody who knew about debt and knew about consolidating it, and who basically said, look, as for my way to pay you back, let me just start to accumulate the debts that you give. Let me set up an organization in your name, and people can start paying into it slowly to repay what you've done. And you kind of saw it as minor, not a big deal. But when you go to the bank thinking you might be able to scrape together a couple of $100s, and you're thinking about selling your properties out, you find out that the person who you healed, they made good on what they were saying. And there are thousands of dollars in what is pretty good liquid ready to go. When you start to pull out from this, it's going to attract enough attention that it means that you're probably going to have to start doing some proper accounting and organization to maintain the foundation or organization or system properly. But look, for a quick burn, enough to get a carriage, say, it's doable.
I'm not saying I'm doing it. I'm saying it's there. And if anyone turns around and is like, hey, Doc, perhaps he will consider it.
Okay, good to know.
It is also like, I have a little bit more cash on hand as well. Not enough to buy a carriage.
So,
It does.
you
Well,
do?
not cash on hand. I probably have to get it like wired. I don't know how money works.
I got $20.
I got
Yeah.
$5 or something.
Look, if you sort of have this extended conversation, if the collection of you are willing to liquidate some of your assets between Mac and between the dock, you can have a stagecoach and a Gatling gun. You'll need some horses too, but you've already got those waiting for you in Stillwater.
Outstanding.
Yep, happy to do so.
Not
you-
happy,
it's
but
up to
Grease
you
is
guys.
insisting.
You're
I
gonna
got,
have
no,
to.
I got no money, and neither does Grace.
Stop too. Because
There is a limit of how insisting if I have guilt tripped you into buying a Gatling gun and an armored wagon. I think this is
Also,
more
can
about
I-
Mac.
Just a quick question. None of us know how to use a Gatling.
How hard can it be? It spews out 1,000 bullets. One of them's bound to hit.
I think this is like a conversation we can have, but I don't think this is like a given, right? At least not for me. Like Joseph,
Is this
absolutely.
like?
Yeah.
do you
not
know when
like
you-
yes, take my money. This is like
You
if
know-
Mac turns around and is like, hey, I need
Yeah.
to do it.
Absolutely.
But
On further reflection, I think we can manage the wagon, but a Gatling gun is
cheaper.
uses the firearms machine gun skill, which is base 10%, and I imagine everyone's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Base
Like,
10%.
unless-
I'm a real
unless
quick learner.
Yeah, I don't think you're. No. Sorry, no.
like, I'm not.
They're
Personally,
idiot proof.
I'm not convinced we need one. / it's a good idea because it makes us very visible.
I mean, the wagon's gonna make us visible. This is gonna make us defend it.
That's what I meant. I'm talking about the wagon.
Oh, you're talking about the wagon. Oh.
Right.
Well, we need a way to get in. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is why I feel like we need to go to Stillwater first, so we can get a sense of which way the wind is blowing, and decide what to do from there. And we can decide if we need to take a stealthier approach or a all and guns blazing sort of approach.
I think that's a fun idea.
All right, so I think after all this, we're not buying anything. and we're
Lot of
going
good
to
points.
Stillwater.
Lot of good points. Let's leave it as a maybe, as a possibility for later. And not unlike a boy on Christmas, I'll close my eyes when we get real close to Stillwater. And if there's something wagon shaped, all wrapped up and pretty, I'm going to be excited as hell. But I ain't expecting it. I will
I'm
be
gonna
pleased as
wire the
punch.
people of Stillwater and be like, hey, can you wrap up an old carriage? Like whatever fucking farm. shit.
Oh my
I'll-
god,
I'll
it sounds like a Gatling gun when I shake it.
Okay.
Shoot yourself in the foot.
So it's off to Stillwater then. You head out in one morning and bid farewell to the town of Shade behind you. Although the whole countryside is kind of shady at the minute. The rain is continuing. It's still spitting, and it's a relatively nice journey. In fact, dare I say, you probably get a bit chilly. You probably get a bit wet on the way. It's as you walk through the ground, which turns muddy and dry and broken as you head through. But the sun soon peaks out again, and everything dries up pretty quickly. As you're riding along into Stillwater, it is much the same image as all of the audience might have seen when we first started this adventure. A section of you are riding into the town where Hank Hannaretti was so long ago. Can you please give us a brief description of how the group of you are different to when you were originally riding in? Of course, Blanca isn't with you, and she was when you rode in. Maybe Blanca's away somewhere else now. You like to think, Mac, that given that you did your best for her legally, she's out somewhere, reunited with her child and managing to calm things down, but you're not sure entirely about that. What about the rest of you? You're all here now. What's different between how you are now and how you started this adventure?
I'll go. So when we first came in, if I remember correctly, Grease was running up ahead. He did not have a horse. And it was that thing where a kid runs out up ahead and gets exhausted. Has to
Yeah.
wait for everything. This time I have a horse.
Yeah, okay.
And
Nah,
your
I'm
horse is
kidding.
running out ahead.
Yeah. I think although Grace still acts young and foolhardy, he's a lot. I mean, he's aged quite a lot in the few short weeks or whatever, and he sets to being an idiot sometimes with determination rather than just absent-minded. I don't know. He's seen enough that he's keeping an eye out. He's scanning the horizon. He's looking for lizards. He's matured quite.
Is there
a
a
bit.
wisp of facial hair beginning to grow upon his soft?
There was. Mac made me
face?
shave it before the meeting.
You've got a few new scars. It's been a couple of. It's all together because we took some a couple of week breaks in the middle. It's been a couple of months all up. So you've grown.
I'm young enough that it's like still growing. I actually look physically different.
Can I get you to roll a D100 for me, Grace? Just humor me.
Hypothetically, is this something to do with my war wagon? You know what? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I want it to be a surprise. Okay. 76.
Okay, fantastic. All right. 76 is high. I thought that what I get you to do is just on the off chance, roll how many days it would be until it's your birthday. And, it's coming up. It's coming up. It's not going to be, it's not soon. It's coming up.
Yeah, it's always right. A few months.
All right. Meanwhile, what about the rest of you? Mac, Griff, Doc. What's different?
Got a new coat. It's nice.
Looks good.
Well done.
So when we went into Stillwater, Mac, he knew he was on his last job, but he came into it with an air of having thought he'd seen it all, and it turns out he hadn't. So I don't know what that did to his kind of demeanor, his energy level. I guess at the start he was kind of tired and worn out to begin with, and he carried himself with like an air he's dragging himself toward the next bandit. But now I think he feels like he's being pulled because there are threats out here in the West that he did not imagine were possible before. So that's kind of, I guess reinvigorated him slightly. I think he's almost like physically he looks much older, much older, but I think there's a little bit more of a drive behind his step now that he knows what's lurking out here.
All right, fantastic. Good to know.
Griff. Griff. So, Griff is physically much the same, apart from a few scars and things here and there. One on his neck, but that's hidden well by his long beard. He sits the same, and he's got a different horse though. That's probably a thing. But when he arrived, he had a determination in his eyes. He came down looking for someone, and that was the only thing he cared about for a long time. And then that kind of got sorted. And so now he kind of looks distracted. Like he feels like if someone did a psychology check on him, they might decide that he felt like he should be somewhere else doing something else. He doesn't really have a reason for being here anymore. But he's carrying on, but he won't stay here very long, probably. He's almost done. He's almost going to go home, and he's looking forward to that.
Finally, a release, a way back. Hopefully, it'll be as simple as just going back to where you're from, and then we'll be home. And finally, Doc.
Well, I think when we met Doc, he was, dressed kind of nice, little dusty from being on the road. He wasn't the boldest of men, little timid, didn't like speaking his mind. I think as we see Doc now, he sits straighter in his saddle. It's like something's lifted off his shoulders. He ain't carrying the same things he used to carry. And I think, because it's interesting, while he spent a fair amount of the journey down, going through his notes as he always does,
I think there's a moment that he looks up at Stillwater and then above Stillwater and beyond to where he knows his place is, and there's kind of hunger.
Okay, good to know. They're building a train station in Stillwater. It's getting connected to the world. The town has continued to grow. It got damaged pretty badly while you were there, but it's been several months since then. And with the community banding together the way that they did to fight against a terrible threat that most of them have tried to drive from their minds, they got a lot done. When you come back in, you pass by the scaffolding and set up for a new building, this train station. It's set right outside a small garden that has sprung up around the tree that you hung Hank Hanarati from, Mac. Probably a few flowers that planted there in memorial, and a few more of them now. There's even some new planted trees. One day, you know that there'll be a nice little sort of patch that leads into this station. You can see the houses and the buildings inside are getting rebuilt. The damage from the living dead that assaulted this place is all but gone. And the people, as you walk in, look sharp. There's no drifting weirdness to their movement. There's no bizarre alien, absence. It's a normal town. You're recognized by a lot of them. And I would like whoever has the highest credit rating to make a credit rating check on the behalf of your group at large.
I think that's me these days.
I believe we are tied.
I think
that's
you've
right.
been doing so much medical work, Doc, it should be you.
Very well. This could go very poorly. Let us find out. My skill page will load.
Ooh, very nice.
There were people in Stillwater that would have died without your help, and they remember that. And the rumors of everything that the collection of you have done have carried on the wind, so to speak. You don't get hostile glances. You get cautious glances. Mac, you don't get glances at all, but that's better than hostile ones, at least in your book.
I will make a point. Because I wasn't there or in any way involved in the death of Hank Hanarati, outside of knowing where it was, but I will make a point of stopping my horse at that tree, getting off, and just taking a moment to pay my respects before getting up and moving on, because I know what this town went through and I don't agree with what was done.
You find yourself standing in front of the tree and you find yourself thinking, if you were put into a position where you were faced with knowledge of the most terrible truths, mythos truths of the world, would you do dark things? And you find yourself examining your own actions. Do you see some of yourself in Hank Hanarati? Maybe. I don't know. That's up to you. But you pay your respects and then mount up again and ride back into the town. There's a cantina to one side and the Sweetwater Saloon, named Sweetwater, not Stillwater, out of stubborn pride, still running. You book out rooms and head in. Most things about the town are relatively normal. You can see that the sheriff's office looks a lot busier. A new sheriff's been elected and several new deputies have come through. As you're glancing about, Marshall, can I get you to make a spot hidden check just to notice a small detail?
We're all lizards.
All of the minute details.
You activate Eagle Vision or whatever video game.
Mac View.
There's a fight club right behind the bar.
Oh, finally. No, the new sheriff is the woman who tried to protect Hanarati from you and stood up to you so long ago. You decide to give the sheriff's office a wide berth for the time being. You don't need to reopen those wounds. Grease, I want you to make a luck check.
This is going to be for what color it is. Note, James, I want cherry red. Okay?
You want cherry red.
Now let's see what actually comes up. That's what I'm angling for. Where's the old luck? Ka-chang.
This is not cherry red.
Oh, it's a horrible puce. That's puce.
Worse. I think it doesn't exist.
Don't
Cherry farmer
don't
was
make
moving
jokes.
a wagon. through Stillwater, but they left just a couple of days ago. And they had all this armor on the wagon, but they didn't need it, so they had it all melted down. They just couldn't. Yeah, fantastic. Just as a okay, thank you. You meant this town is closer to where Castro Negro is, about 100 miles out, so it's going to be a couple of days ride, but you could hopefully be able to find out a bit more here if you want to start digging around. Once again, there's a town hall and you could go into records about the place. Your eyes keep glancing up to Knife Cut Mesa towards the side, the location where you fought all of the snakes, and you keep expecting the ground to rumble beneath you, but nothing happens. Grease, your eyes dart up towards the church where you had that encounter with the mad preacher, and you consider going up. Is Greece still religious?
Yeah, if anything, I got more of an idea about it than he does, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. The town is yours. You'll rest here for at least a day. If you want to rest longer, you can, but what's your plans in town? I guess that will define how long you spend here.
Hey, folks, I was thinking, if I could ask a couple of you, if I could borrow your binoculars, Marshall, I'd be wanting to go out and, from a very safe distance, just take a look at this Castra.
I mean, 100
means.
It's a ways away, ain't it? You ain't gonna be able to see it unless you hoof out there a couple days.
Oh yeah, I'll leave today and come back in a couple days while you guys get stuff together, perhaps, or maybe ask the locals. I ain't that good at talking to folk, and I ain't that good at reading stuff, so I feel like that's probably a better call for me to do than wander around this town trying to make things work. If that's okay with y'all lot.
Makes sense to me.
No harm in seeing what you see.
Which direction did you say it was in there, Doc?
It's to the northwest. Sorry, I totally interrupted you, Doc.
No, literally, I think it's like that way. I think.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
Also,
Anyway.
us not knowing the exact location, it'd be good if I could get a beeline on it. Now, again, I'm not going in very close.
So just for perspective, it's about 14 hours of a good pace riding to get to Castro Negro from Stillwater. So
Okay, that's closer than I
But if
thought.
if I was hoping like I could go for say 10 hours and find a hill that I could go up to the top of and look down.
Yeah,
on
that's pretty reasonable. But just to give an example of the sort of
distances.
There are races where people travel upwards of these distances, and some of the riders who do these kind of races they'll use several horses first of all, and they'll start at 4 a.m. and they'll end at midnight. So this kind of stuff does happen. You could do it in a day, but it's a big trip. More likely, you're doing it 2 days at a good pace and 3 days if you take it easy. But
Right.
you could hard ride. You could hard ride and get there in let's call it 2 days, and at a hard pace, you can get in close enough to have a look and back.
In 2 days.
Well,
Like
you can
there
take-
and back. Sorry, there and back.
Yeah, there and back in 2 days. So
Yeah.
one day
Done.
there, 1 day
Boom.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't think we're in any hurry to go racing and then when we ain't ready. So
Yeah, I think
Take
I think
time.
best we get a look and see what we're going to deal with before. And if it is in case all held up, we can make talks about bringing armored wagons and whatnot.
Right. So Griff says you're all going into town. Griff immediately takes a job that'll lead him out of Stillwater. Would you like to volunteer to accompany, or are you going to try and figure out some other thing that you can do while you're
I'm
in
gonna
town?
save this town. No, I'm staying here. Hey, Griff, though, if you're going up there, ain't that direction we saw snakies? And when you come back, you're gonna let the dog have a look at you, right?
I look at the dog. Yeah, all right. Yep, fair enough.
Man, it'd be a damn shame to get this far and get insurrected or whatever.
Also, you want a new code word? We should
Well,
set one up now.
I think we found out that they get your memories. So
Oh yeah, so that ain't as useful. Yep, all right. Well,
I'll tell you what, when you
I'll-
come back, you'll do a fun little dance for us. And that's how we'll know And if you can come up with a song, start thinking about it now so you make sure it's good.
How about I think real hard about doing that as I leave, and if I come back and do it, you'll know.
We'll shoot you.
Exactly. So if I come back and do a dance, shoot me.
Yeah, done. That seems like a
I
good plan
think
as
I
any.
can take a good look at you over the course of 24 hours, and I think we'll be able to.
That'll be plan A.
Okay. So you take off and you ride hard, heading northwest out, to go through Knife Cuts Mesa, actually, and then you are heading out towards where you know Castra Negro and your destiny lies. What about the rest of you? Into the town? Staying at Sweetwater Saloon? What do you plan to do?
I guess probably keep an eye out to see if there are any snake folk in town, because that's always a problem these days.
All right, you're doing a general patrol then. I'll get you to make a psychology test to try and eye anybody who is looking at you with a reptilian set in their eyes.
It's such a trope these days. Every Wild West setting, you're like, are these guys snakes now?
Hard success.
As you're walking past the town hall and there's a portrait of the president, and you know what? There's a slightly odd... No, just your imagination.
Or whatever his name was.
But is that the chief of staff in the background? They look... no. You're pretty sure that there's no snake people around. If they are here, they are, extraordinarily ingrained with the population. And you reckon that the people are pretty clued into any weirdness that could be happening right now. They don't... Yeah, they're not tolerant of any of that. You're pretty sure that Stillwater is safe.
And no one's causing any trouble? And got any troublemakers in town?
None that are going to cause trouble in front of you, but for what it's worth, look, with a hard success, you reckon the new sheriff is doing a really, really good job.
All right, then. Yeah. I'll stay out of everyone's hair.
Okay. You get to put your feet up. You have no more chance really of dying than any of the other investigators, but I'm sort of hanging this sort of Damocles above your head. So you find yourself at one point sitting at the bar, deciding you might not get another chance to drink. And what do you order yourself? You got a couple of bucks in your pocket. It's gonna be last night at a bar. This could be the last one. Before you head out to war.
I'll have a sodaed water. Keep it clear head.
All right, fantastic.
This is again. I feel like we're dodging tropes here. Like the fact that 3 out of 4 of us do not drink is insane. It is.
I don't drink except a little bit of occasional heroin, or opium, or whatever. Keep it light.
Four of us.
Doc does enough substances for the rest of us combined. It's fucking fine.
Yeah.
I think Mac does drink and has in the past, but he's got a big day.
Yeah,
he's got a big couple of days ahead of him, and I think he is aware this could be the last time he's in a bar, last time in town. Maybe he just wants to, keep his senses sharp and take in the throb of civilization.
Nice.
While he still can.
You watch, and this is the end of the day. It's a nice bar. Grease.
As Mac orders his drink, I come down the stairs from the room, and it's clear that my pockets have been stuffed with something, but I'm not drawing attention to it. And I go, "Hey, Mac, I'm gonna go take in the town. I'll see you later." I head for the door.
Yep, you hurry out the door. A couple of people are sort of glancing oddly at you, but none of them really are going to sort of make any questions. Oh, Doc.
Oh, I feel like I know where you're going, and I would like to remind you that Molly is there. Enjoy.
That what?
And if you're not going there, that's brilliant. Oh, I have notes from the first session where someone went to the Buena Suerte Cantina, did a bunch of gambling, and talked to a hooker.
Yeah, I remember that.
You step outside of the front door, and you know that Molly is there.
Nothing of the sort. Young boy, and I run out the door.
Where are you headed, Grace?
I'm gonna head out the town, and I'm gonna be dropping off. I got a lot of my comic books, and I'm thinking of doing a little. I want to see that research, so I'm going up to people going, "Hi, My name is Grace. You may recognize me from when I saved your dumb town. This is a comic book of me. I can autograph it if you like. I'll definitely go via the canteen. I fucking loved it there. They were great. I won money and talked to lovely people. So I go around. I'm giving people my comic book. I'm trying to get a little
Make a
grassroots
charm
marketing campaign.
Make a charm check.
Ooh. Where's the old Chomsky? I come across as grating.
Your own comic book.
Shocker.
Up for the first time.
Yes.
I was just waiting for you to fumble so you could start handing it out, and some kid is like, "You killed the lightning kid."
That kid, technically, I only killed him the first time. Second time he was stabbed to death by a doctor.
That was Griff.
No, I'm never telling anyone that. They ain't never gonna know.
Because as far as they know, you pointed and blew someone's head up. Anyway,
Yeah, it was
you had other
awesome.
comic books, and you continue to do so for a while. You're trying your grassroots marketing, and you've got a direction to go in.
Can I? I've got a suggestion for role pushing.
Yes.
I mean, the thing about comic books is, sure, you've read the last issue, but what you want to know is what's coming up next. And I'm going to let him in a little tidbit that we're writing out for Castro Negro, and we're going to take out, what's his nuts? Charlie.
Right, I'll tell you what, if you can push the roll, and if there is anybody in the town who has any line to Castro Negro, then news is going to come out.
Here's the thing. I'm not... Grease isn't, actually stupid. My intent is also, if that shakes anyone... so pushing isn't really hard, because I can see the benefit of it. I was thinking, if someone makes a ride out, can we try and track them to see if the news gets out?
You absolutely can. This could shake loose things. So there's a penalty to it that you're throwing out a risk, but yeah.
But I'm kind of aware that I'm telling people this, and that if it shakes someone, I'll be keeping an eye out. All right, fuck it, let's go. Rock and roll. And then once they know we're coming, we're going to have to go in force, and we're getting my damn arm wagon.
You're playing the long game.
Ooh, and a hard success.
Look,
I'd like to shake someone loose if that works. I'm very keen to
you
get a little...
managed to figure out that there are a couple of people that know about Castro Negro in the town.
All right.
And this is sort of something that... it's particularly the older folk, the people that you weren't really approaching. So you try to get, you sort of go around and you keep trying the comic book aged people that you think might be interested in.
They're timeless.
Adults, and that's not working.
Every generation loves them.
Exactly. Well, that you end up going to the old people last. And when you mention Castro Negro, their eyes light up. I heard stories that my parents and my grandparents told about that place. Said it was mighty strange. I never heard of it nor seen it on no map. I didn't think it was real.
You know why that is?
Wow.
Government conspiracy. It's a government funded black site where they take there and they got lizard folks, which they're experimenting upon and breeding a new race of lizard people.
I hope you're not wearing your badge when you say
I
that.
was about to say, would you be wearing... Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't be wearing your federal marshal's badge while you're talking about a federal government conspiracy.
You can see it right there. It's right on your shirt. I can see it.
And there wouldn't have been a chance when Mac was like, we're not wearing the badges anymore because we're officially going off. Or are we? Because I agree. If we... Unless we had a pointed thing of like, we're not doing them from here on out, I think I'm absolutely wearing it.
Mac, are you wearing yours?
Yeah, I am.
I'm probably wearing it.
That's also interesting to know that you're wearing yours, Mac. And then Griff, Grease, absolutely you are wearing yours. They kind of... You may intimidate check for me.
Yeah. I mean, we're the cool, we're on the inside and we got to keep an eye out for everyone and make sure stuff stays copacetic. Get that up, you.
Okay.
You old bastard.
Okay, Marshall, we understand. We won't say nothing about it to anybody, promise.
No, I ain't a marshal. I'm just a deputy. And what I'm telling you is it's a conspiracy and I'm heading over there and we're going to sort it out.
Okay. I like your comic. Would you sign it for me?
Well, yeah, I'll sign it for you. Let me ask you a couple questions. I mean, you said you heard people that have been out there previously or something?
Well,
who do I make this out to?
My name's Jeremy.
Right. And I'll get one for your kid as well.
My kid is clearly making up a fake name. Mark.
Yeah, right. Mark it is. You were saying, sorry, so what's your ties to this place? What have you heard?
Well, sometimes people would come in. So said my grandparents. So said my parents, telling stories that they heard from their parents.
I get it. You ain't on the record.
Sometimes people would rush into town saying they was from Castro Negro and saying that there was bad stuff after them, dangerous things. Sometimes they'd keep moving. Sometimes they'd up and vanish. Sometimes disappear. It's just how it was.
Got any like bases you can put to it? Like specifics of what they said? I mean, armies marching, monsters and that sort?
It's old, being here since the Spanish was here. It wasn't always called Castro Negro. It was called Agua Blanca or Whitewater back long time ago. Said it's been here for hundreds of years.
I mean, that'd outdate Stillwater, wouldn't it?
By a long while, son. By a long while. Hundreds of years at least.
You wouldn't know what they originally set up to do. Mining or trade. Presume not much farming or cattle.
Well, I know that this far out, folks who came this far out into New Mexico back then, that was pretty far. They wanted privacy. I don't know what they were doing.
All right, well, I appreciate your candor. You enjoy that comic book, and they're all excellent. 9 cents an issue. You can get them in all major retailers and friendly local, etc. And I'll leave you to today and keep an eye out. They walk among us.
As you turn to leave, you got a hard success on that charm.
Yep.
And you
and
sort of given
intimidate.
a nice and a success in the intimidate. I mean, Jeremy.
I'm genuinely also being like, you live in a place that is very close to lizard people. You should be watching.
Yeah.
You should be scared.
Jeremy will lean forward and say, I mean, what I always heard, my mother was a student of history, and she always said that, well, they were running from the Inquisition, but I reckon that's a load of nonsense.
You'd be surprised. Appreciate it again.
Okay.
Enjoy your day, sir.
All right. And to the most critical of research, Doc, I think you may want to jump in here. I left you to last again, I believe.
I believe that Doc continues doing what he was doing. He's
okay.
trying to find. I think in this case, because we're nearer to it.
Yep.
He's doing the same kinds of research he was doing before, but he's trying to pull threads from what he can find in the town as well about Castanegro.
Okay. So you start basically. I mean, you're looking through the town hall records. You're looking through everything that you can think of, and you're trying to tie it to the research that you've been doing into the Serpent people. It's all got to be connected somehow.
I mean, I have an inkling, and intelligence rolls are my thing.
I'm gonna ask for a library use check first. So with a hard success, you were going to
5 points of luck.
If you get 5 points of luck, I'll give you something big.
Done.
Okay, fantastic. So it takes hearing the term Agua Blanca from Greece for you to be able to really track down the details of this town. It's definitely changed. It's been hidden for many, many years. The town has been around since the 1680s, so it has been here for a very long time. and it appears to have been settled by people who moved directly to the area from Spain. And you do manage to find some kind of references to they were pursued. There was someone trying to find out about them, but the details are not clear, and they never seemed to catch up to them at any rate. More importantly, you find out that Castronegro is now actually a pretty sizable town. It's got a couple of hundred people there, and occasionally people do leave Castronegro, but it's very, very rare. When they do leave, they tend to be fleeing the town, and you can find occasional reports of people popping up, making claims that the town is basically overrun and dangerous, and the people there are murderers. And for whatever reason, investigations into the town have been stonewalled. They've been blocked, and they've been blocked for many, many decades. Long enough that you're thinking that this isn't a case of, a serpent person taking over a politician and pulling strings. This is more someone with ongoing, very high connections to the authority within the country and the area is pulling strings. The most critical thing that you find is that one of the people fleeing Castronegro, the refugees for want of a better word, stayed in a town that was an accessory, basically mining camp that would ultimately become Stillwater, and they vanished from the camp, and their effects were preserved and have found their way into the Stillwater Town Hall, collected amongst the various bits and ends of unclaimed things. And in the bottom of a collected, set of affairs and drawers tucked away in the basement of the town hall, you find a small box labeled with the name of a long dead woman. And inside it, you find a collection of black robes and a sickle.
Ooh.
That's a little creepy.
That's fucking rad.
Yeah, I feel Joseph's just like, it's not a dude screaming in a lake.
Yeah, yeah.
Like robes, sickles. There's no holly out this way, or mistletoe, or whatever the hell they used to. I think it was holly for the sickles. Something, I don't remember. But yeah, it's not a lot of that around.
No, it tends to be, the vegetation's a little sparse in the desert. Griff, let's jump back to you as you ride out hard from town. Can you make a ride check for me?
Yeah, I can. And there.
Oh, well done.
Hard
Yeah,
success.
you make it in good time. I was saying it'd be a hard ride. It
is. I succeeded.
You leave early in the morning because you're used to that kind of thing, and you manage to arrive, tearing across the ground. You are heading further and further into what you would describe as sort of like the true badlands of the desert, the harshest parts of New Mexico, where the sort of dotted vegetation fades away until you're really staring at this sort of cracked expanse of.
And there's like gullies and canyons everywhere that you have to sort of navigate your way through. And occasionally you'll get to some place and there'll be a huge drop and you have to go far out, turn around, come back out and go around.
You are entirely right.
Yeah.
And eventually, as the sun is beginning to set, you get close enough that you think you can see shimmering in the distance the vague signs of civilization. This is usually a sight that would tell you, well, time to turn around and head back into the mountains if you want, because you wanted to avoid people. This time, you take your binoculars and you do your best to get a good look, a good eye on the surrounding. Can you make for me a spot hidden check?
Okay. This is the part where I revealed that my spot hidden is 35. All right, let's have a go. Oh,
okay. Wow.
11 and then a 10. I am the best at this. It is based entirely on luck.
You're looking around the landscape and you are thinking to yourself, there is no path into this town. It would be very hard for people to find this place. It would be very hard for people to leave this place. And the buildings there that are collected, they look like they haven't been updated since the 17th century. They are, odd architecture that stands out, blocking
that old Spanish mission style, like that exists. Yeah, I can picture it. Yeah.
And you can see in the center of the town there is a large cathedral. And at the back of the town, there is what looks like a sort of almost like a feudal castle overlooking this place.
Okay.
And you can see the shape of the cathedral in the center of the town. And silhouetted against the sun, just as it pulls down, getting towards dusk, you see silhouetted what looks like an enormous statue of a robed figure holding out their hands, and they are holding in each hand a sickle.
All right.
You want to get closer?
Yeah. No, I would not like to get closer. How many people would this town have in it, approximately? If I can't make that out, can I guess based on the amount of houses?
Couple of hundred.
Couple
Big.
hundred.
Biggish, yeah.
All right. Can I determine if there is a way to approach, if this town seems like, is there a way to approach this town that might be sneakier than any other way, or is it like the town and then flat lands?
No, it's
around
broken canyon
Broken
land.
canyons.
You could sneak through the ridges pretty easily and get quite close.
So the other thing is getting a cart up, getting an armored car, a wagon here would be very difficult.
Look, it's
because there's no
doable. It'd just
road.
be tough. Listen, we got a bathtub at the center of the earth. You know?
For those who don't get
Good
that,
times.
see the previous stream.
Hold by within.
Call by within. Catch up on youtube.com/Chaosium URL. I don't know.
YouTube.com.
I should have prepared this.
Yeah, I was just. All right, I think I have sufficient enough to my memory that I can, like, if I think of something else, I can remember back and ask. But I think once I've gotten a view of this place, I turn around and head back.
You turn and you begin to ride away. And just as the sun slips below the horizon, giving way to night, at the exact moment, that in-between state, half day, half night, you hear a sudden crack like thunder, and the rain around you grows heavier, splattering around. You turn about, you can't resist doing so, and you see the entire sky has fractured into brilliant prismatic light, and aurora that stretches across the town. You can see blinding stars. You can feel an otherworldly, overwhelming presence has appeared. I want you to make a sanity check.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't like that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, failure.
Hell
Alright,
yeah.
Okay. Your mind numbs and you feel panic wash over you. Your horse spurs underneath you and whinnies madly and takes off, tearing away as quickly as it can. And you find yourself gripping the reins, white-knuckled, and refusing to look back. But you remember what you saw, as if the statue's sickle had sliced open the sky, as if it was a key. And on the other side was something outside this world, outside of space, outside of time altogether. Something peeking through, something that you couldn't pronounce, something very, very scary. You're going to take a D6 of sanity damage, and we're going to park the session there.
Oof.
Okay.
Oof.
Should we find out if you're temporarily insane first?
Oh yeah, let's find that out. It would not
The
surprise
old
me.
TI.
All right,
Oh, good.
Okay,
you
we're all right,
made it.
we're all right,
Okay,
we're all right.
perfect.
scraped it.
That's it. All right. Bonus points for whoever can guess in chat
Ooh-wee.
what it is, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. It was great to have you. Thank you to the wonderful cast. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Art. Thank you, Dave. You're all wonderful.
Thank you, Jamie.
Hello, James.
You can catch up with the Waite Bull stream this Saturday at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, Australian Eastern Daylight Time,
Daylight,
because
yeah.
we're now in
Daylight
the
time.
glory of daylight savings. Yep. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitch. It really helps us out. We'll see you next week. Thanks very much.